previous installments, we were going over the chicken stock. This is what we're left with after we have skimmed off the top and removed the fat layer that we had discussed. When it sits overnight, you remove the fat. Then when you cook it down and reduce it by about half, this is what you wind up with. You can see this wonderful, almost like golden color elixir. This is great. You could freeze this either by putting it in ice cube trays, the stackable kind, in your freezer. Once it's completely frozen, you can go ahead and put them in Ziploc bags for later use, or you can freeze them in Gladware containers like this. Just a couple of containers this size will make plenty. If you wanted to add more water to it, then when you make chicken soup, any sort of dish that you want to use this for, you can stretch it a little bit further. It's extremely flavorful. You can see the dark color. If I would have roasted these, the bones, the skin, again, it would come out even darker than this. But reducing the stock means that you get more flavor. It's more condensed. You're making the flavor particles, so to speak, closer together and not as stretched apart with water. It's the same thing that happens when you do with any dish and you add water, waters down the flavor. This concentrates it. The next step we're going to do is dealing with the sausage that we have sliced. Pork sausage that is pecan smoked. It is primarily pork. I don't think there's anything other than maybe a little bit of venison in this brand that I picked up. If you can find andouille wherever you are located, that's a very good kind of sausage to use. It's pecan smoked as well. It has the right flavor, seasonings, paprika, garlic added to the sausage. I'm in Central Texas. I have a little more of a problem finding it here locally for an affordable cost, but maybe one day I'll get a smoker and start making my own. My stock pot here I've got on medium heat. I'm allowing it to heat up some. And what I'm going to do is brown this sausage. You can get a decent view of what that looks like. What I'm trying to do is add more layers of flavor. If I just use the sausage as it is, uncaramelized, it'll still be good. No one would complain. But I'm going to get more flavor by browning and caramelizing the fats and proteins that are on either side of the sausage. The reason I sliced it a little bit on a bias is because you get more surface area to do that browning so that the sausage will lay flat in the pan. I'm going to add a small amount of olive oil. Really just enough to coat. I'm not looking for the fats so much from the olive oil as much as I am for it to just give me something so the meat doesn't stick quite as easily. And I'm going to add about half of the sausage that I have. And just going to shake that out so it'll lay flat. This is going to cook, it's going to brown, it's going to caramelize. It's not going to burn. You may have to turn down the heat or turn up the heat depending on your stove. This is gas, which is always preferable. When this batch of sausage browns, then what I will do is remove it. I will add the next batch, and then when all the sausage is brown, we'll go towards the final stages of putting the jambalaya together, including the spices and the additional ingredients. We've browned the first batch of the sausage. You can get a good view of the caramelization that we have on the surface, and then what the uncooked pieces look like. The other reason that we've browned the sausage is not just for the texture of the sausage and the flavor there, but the flavor that we get in the fond on the bottom of the pan. That is not burnt, it's just caramelized. It's proteins and fats that have browned on the bottom of that stock pot. That is going to dissolve in our finished jambalaya, and it's part of the reason that it's so rich. We're adding layer after layer of flavor. It's the difference between playing a single note on a guitar and playing a chord. All food responds to the same thing. Multiple flavors, multiple textures, complexity, depth. So, we're going to brown the rest of the sausage. After the rest of the sausage is browned, then we'll go ahead and assemble everything together. I'll go over the rest of the recipe and everything that goes into it. Before we get to assembling the final jambalaya, we have sausage that's still cooking. We have chickens. These are 2 whole chickens that we roasted the other night. There are little bits of skin, but this is all meat. It's all been deboned. The bones and skin were used in our stock. And in addition to the stock, we're also adding some soy sauce. Remember, we didn't salt the stock. The soy sauce adds some glutamates. It has a flavor called umami. It's popular in Japanese cuisine. You can also get it from things like fish sauce. But in this particular recipe, the soy sauce also adds a depth of color that will come out in the finished product. I think it's a secret ingredient some people aren't using in a jambalaya. So we've got sausage. I think we have about 6 pounds. Maybe the chicken's around 4 pounds. We've got 8 cups of liquid, which is the stock and the soy sauce. And we've got 4 cups of rice, just white rice. We've also got our spices, which are a mix of thyme, red pepper, black pepper, white pepper, and sweet basil. I'll give you the ratios and proportions of the ingredients, the ingredient amounts, so you can do this at home and customize it to the size of your party or your family. This meal is going to last us 3 or 4 days. We will eat off of this in various ways, and if I have extras and lots of leftovers, you can always stuff peppers with it. So, all of it goes into the pot, and you bring it to a boil. In addition, you're also going to add some onion. There are about 3 onions diced here, some celery, and about 8 cloves of garlic that are finely diced. That's all going into the pot and will come to a boil.